Yo, what's poppin', guys? It's your boy Crix209 back at you guys with another video. And today I bring to you guys the Inside the Mind of a Fighter Striking Edition. Now this video is going to be the first video of a 4-part set that I'm going to bring to you guys to help you guys get a better understanding of how I look at every aspect of the game. So today, the first aspect we're going to be looking at is my favorite, the striking. So with that being said, we're going to jump into the first thing that I have for you guys, and that is how to utilize the jab to set up combinations. Now, anybody that has ever fought me or watched me fight knows that I utilize the jab super heavy. I set up all my strikes based off of my jab, and especially with fighters like Max Holloway, who has a 5-star jab, it could be very, very beneficial to establish your jab early. So how I've learned to do that over the years of me playing UFC is I've just learned the range. So right here is my jabbing range. I can hit without having to move my left stick at all. I don't have to lunge in anything. I can throw a combination from right here and land my 1-2s. Now from this distance right here, I can jab straight moving forward, but I can't jab and hit them stationary. So just knowing that those are my ranges help me establish my jab in fights, as well as set up a lot of the other stuff that I have. Once somebody starts to realize that I'm using my jab heavy, they'll start to move their head off left and right. They'll start to try to duck and try to negate my jab, and then I can set up a lot of my combos off of that. So I would recommend utilizing the jab very, very heavy if you're trying to become an elite fighter at any stretch of time. So the next thing that I have for you guys is when to utilize feints. Now, I see this mistake happening with a lot of people, and I want to show you guys how I utilize feints and the ranges that I utilize feints at. You hardly ever see me utilize feints inside right here, because if they time it out that you're feigning the entire time, you're going to eat a combination and you're going to get heavy, heavy damage done against you. And against super elite fighters, that's all it takes is one time of them hurting you, and then they're going to get you out of there. So I hardly ever utilize feints right here unless I know my opponent's head health is super low. Then I'll start utilizing feints right here. But if not, I'm just cracking off jabs. I'm just cracking off straights and stuff right here. But when I get out from right here, I start utilizing feints a lot more, because then, you know, I utilize them moving forward a lot, because I want my opponent to start to not really catch my timing. They'll start moving their head off, so that'll give me an early indication of what they're trying to do, if they're trying to just counter me, or, you know, they'll start to fire off combinations, and that lets you know really what's going on. So that's why I utilize feints from this distance right here. It helps me get a better read of what my opponent is doing. If they're just standing there like Calvin Kattar is right now while I'm feigning, then most of the time they're just going to wait for you to enter the pocket and try to beat you inside the pocket. If they start moving their head off, then they're going to try to counter that. They're going to try to counter you stepping in with your jab by moving off their head and trying to hit you with like a slip straight or a slip hook or something like that. And if they start trying to throw stationary combinations, then they're trying to catch you coming in. So it's a good indicator, and it's a good tell, utilizing feints from this distance right here. It'll help you get a better read of what your opponent is really trying to do. So the next thing that I have for you guys is how to utilize footsies to create proper distance. Now, how I utilize footsies to create proper distance is I generally just bounce out here. You'll see me circling a lot in my fights. You'll see me circle about right here. I never really stay out here trying to circle, because really nothing that they throw is going to hit me from out here other than a head kick. So most of the time people will not throw head kicks naked like that. They'll try to set them up with a combination. So I generally just try to bounce around in here and play footsies to create the proper distance for a counter. Now this can be very beneficial to you guys because it helps you bait out strikes, right? So if you guys watched my stream earlier, I was able to bait out a leg kick with Timothy Elliott and overhand flash a Davidson Figueiredo just because he threw a leg kick when he shouldn't have. And I utilized that, and I did that by utilizing footsies to bait that out. So I bounced inside the range right here. He threw it. I came back with an overhand, and it was lights out from there. So those are the type of things that I do. These are the type of things that I would recommend that I do, that you guys could use in your game to bait out certain strikes, so that way you guys can get the heavy counters. Now, the next two things that I have to talk to you guys about kind of just go intertwined, and that's how to make reads and how to set up traps. Now, making reads is super, and I mean super important for you guys, because if you're able to make reads and you're able to pick up on a tendency of your opponent, it's going to make life a hell of a lot easier for you guys. So I would highly recommend that you guys try to master this as much as possible. Now, making reads isn't just plain reactionary. It's not just moving off, when you see, like if Calvin Kattar was going to throw a jab, that I just read it and then try to react to it. You have to understand what your opponent is trying to do to you in order to make an accurate read, which basically means you have to predict their next move, which in order to do that, you have to understand what they're trying to do to you. So if I see my opponent, if I see Calvin Kattar is coming in throwing that combination right there, then I know I can pull back and make the correct read and get that knockout right there. So that's something that is super important that I see a lot of people struggle with, is making the reads. If somebody is pushing the pace on you, or your head health is really low, you start to kind of get frazzled. You got to keep your composure and really try to understand, hey, this is what they're trying to do to me. Let me make a read and be able to get a KO. You see this amongst a lot of people, guys like Romero, Zayev, Kinetic NRG, who used to be one of my teachers back in the day. GOAT uses this. They all use this very, very effectively, even when they are hurt, to get back into fights and to dominate fights as well. So doing this, being able to make reads and predict what your opponent's next move is going to be, helps you to set up traps. Now, in order for you to set up traps, you have to be able to make reads. So once you've made the read, like, hey, my opponent does this, my opponent does that, like Calvin Kattar loves to throw this combination right here, I'll pop out a jab and then back up so he feels comfortable in throwing the jab straight, and then right as soon as I see the straight animation play out and I see the hook, I know the hook is coming, then I slip it back and I uppercut him, I uppercut straight him, or I'll even, pull straight him pull him into a pull straight hook. So that's what I mean by little traps. You want to set little traps for your opponent to bait out tendencies that they have and then exploit them. So those are two things that go hand in hand: how to make reads and how to set up traps. Now, the last thing that I have for you guys is when to use combos to finish fights. Now, there's a common misconception for people that you just stand in front of somebody and you just combo them until they fall. This is a very, very dumb thing to do, because then you're playing a chance of 50-50, and there's enough 50-50s in this game to where you don't need to have that happen all the time. Now, one of the things that I utilize when I'm trying to set up a combination to finish fights is I'll stack up damage. So what I mean by that is you'll see me jab straight and then you'll see me combination off, because even if they return with a combination, if my combination hits them first, the damage that they haven't let their head health regenerate, so the damage that they've already taken, it's going to stack up on top of the combination that they're about to eat. So if you exchange, you're going to get the knockdown every single time. So these are the scenarios that you want to set up against an opponent. You want to get the damage in first and then combination off and get the KO, like I just did to Calvin Kattar right there. You do not just want to be in front of your opponent spamming combinations and going back and forth. This will get you in a lot of bad scenarios, and it could even get you finished. So I would not recommend it. Guys like GOAT, like I said, GOAT, Romero, Zayev, they utilize this tool to be able to get KOs. If you're not watching your head health and not letting it regen, they'll get the solid damage off on you, and then you immediately want to answer back, and then you're eating 3 or 4 more combinations and you're on your butt looking to get back in the fight. So definitely utilize this if you are going to be trying to set up a KO. You want to get that damage off first and then hit a combination right after that to get the knockdown or the KO. So all right, guys, that's going to be the end of the video. Hopefully some of the things that I've touched on in this video really help you guys out, and you guys are able to utilize these tips and tricks that I've learned over the years by either learning them myself or learning them from other elite players. Let me know in the comment section if this video really helped you guys out. If there's anything that you guys need clarification on, feel free to drop a comment in the comment section or message me on Twitter or hit me up on PlayStation. I'm more than happy to elaborate on anything that I touched on in this video. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure if you guys enjoyed this video to hit that subscribe button, as well as drop a like on the video. It helps it get farther and reach more people in the algorithm if you guys hit the likes. So make sure you guys do that. But until the next time, guys, take it easy, be safe, and thank you guys for stopping by again.